Hey trashy people, welcome to another edition of Walkin'Talkin'Trash. After a couple weeks away, I'm back and I am picking up trash again at Forest Park Elementary. The gates are open, so I parked here. I hope that's okay. I don't see a no trespassing sign or anything like that. No, all the gates are open. Not a school day, so it's like a little park. And today, despite our best efforts last time, there is more trash. In fact, there's a whole trash bag. So let's just go ahead and get started. Sorry for the camera adjustment. I don't know why people view this place as a dumpster. I don't know what. Sorry for the camera adjustments, just making sure we're giving y'all the view of the trash that you want. I don't know why this is considered a dump. This looks terrible. Oh, I forgot my gloves. Oh no. Oh no. Got caught on a BRIAR. Oops. Well, we got another bag in the car, so hopefully if we need it, we got another bag. It's a chilly one today. I forgot my gloves, but I remembered the foam muffler for the GoPro, so that's good. Hopefully that cuts down on wind noise. Oh, first alcohol product of the day. What is it? Peach bootlegger. A little on the nose for a alcohol product, but all right. Also ironic because it didn't look like it was bootleg. Luckily it's so cold, everything's probably frozen. It is cold and windy. Hey, the drainage grate that we cleaned off last time is still cleaned off, so that's good. Victoria, our favorite. I had never heard of that beer before, and I looked it up, and it is a Mexican beer. Phone case, if anybody wants one. It'll be in the trash. What is this, a KANYE slipper? Looks like some kind of goofy slipper. Get this. Start ripping our bag some more. We got a styrofoam cup to get. It's a shame that in America, I worry that I'm doing something wrong by picking up trash, parking at a school parking lot. You know, you worry, is this trespassing? Is this some kind of, am I going to break some law? It's a shame that in America, the land of the free, you're afraid you're going to break a law every time you go out of your house. And I feel like, you know, I might get in trouble for not wearing a high visibility vest or unauthorized highway maintenance. Or something like that. Maybe I just worry too much. Because I also worry that some antisocial person is going to drive by and decide to throw more litter at me or something, you know, just to make themselves feel better about themselves. I was telling my wife this morning, I can't watch movies from the 80s and 90s anymore. Oh, here's the other part of that slipper, or whatever it was. I was saying I can't watch movies from the 80s and the 90s anymore because I get too nostalgic. I get too forlorn. It's painful to watch movies from the 80s and the 90s. Life made so much more sense back then. Life was so much better back then. I was a kid in the 80s and a teenager in the 90s. And the only good thing we have today, and it's not even totally a good thing, is GPS on our phones. Everything else has gone downhill. You know, we do have nice big TVs now, but the TVs we had then were fine. We never complained. You didn't know you were, you know, I remember as a kid thinking, watching VHS tapes, thinking, how can it get any better than this? Like, I just couldn't imagine a better picture than what we had, you know? Especially if you had a Sony Trinitron. I mean, those were beautiful, beautiful things. And a lot of people still love to game on old TVs because of how they handle motion, especially horizontal motion. It's just in retro gaming, you look at you know, it just looks so much better on those old TVs. I mean, life was really good back then. Yeah, more things smelled like cigarette smoke, and that wasn't that great, but other than that, with a few little technological innovations here and there, modern society and modern times, it just isn't as nice, you know. Now, for some people, of course, they would say it's better, and they have valid points. You know, nothing is all one way. There's good and bad to everything. But, you know, Victoria, how many is that now? 3 Victorias? Whoever litters here loves to drink Victorian beer. They must be an old British person. Black Heroes and a legacy of achievement. Well, that's a nice bag, but unfortunately it's going in the trash because I don't feel like messing with it. I forgot my gloves. But it's a nice bag with a good message on it. Too bad somebody abused the bag and threw it away inappropriately. And speaking of, you know, Black Heroes, you know, I thought we were completely past racism in the 80s and 90s. The first authority figure in my life, besides my parents, was a black woman. She was the principal of our elementary school, a lovely lady, Mary Jordan. And Mary Jordan was Michael Jordan's aunt by marriage. At least that's what I was told, and I believe it because it was outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, where, as you all know, Michael Jordan is from. And she was a lovely woman. And so from the very beginning, I was always taught not to see color. And so I can't speak for everybody's experience, but from my perspective, civil rights hasn't really improved that much since then. And some people would say it's gotten worse. But that's a very political topic for another day. But certainly it's gotten better for the gay community, and that's a nice thing. All discrimination is bad. I don't like discriminating against anybody based on immutable characteristics. Just not right. We are all God's children. Hey, we're making progress, look. Somebody's car is backfiring really bad. Or now it's a motorcycle, I think. And speaking of the 80s and 90s, I don't know if y'all remember the CRAY supercomputer, but the CRAY supercomputer was the most powerful computer in the 80s and 90s. There's various models, but a CRAY supercomputer was synonymous with the most powerful computers, with the future. It was the computer that was in Jurassic Park that they used to decode the dinosaur DNA. It's the computer that they use for space simulations and nuclear simulations and all kinds of cutting-edge science back in the day. And just to give you some perspective on those computers, they drew so much electricity that they had to be submerged in what was essentially liquid nitrogen for some very ice-cold liquid refrigerant. I don't know if it was as cold as liquid nitrogen, but... And to give you more perspective, the amount of electricity they drew was the equivalent of about 100 stoves being turned on full blast all at once. 100 electric stoves, or basically everybody in an apartment complex boiling 4 pots of water at once. It was a huge amount of electricity. We needed the power company to, you know, set up basically a substation to run one of them. They were only available to, and you know, they cost millions and millions of dollars, and they were only available to Department of Defense, large government agencies. And those computers, when you measure it by floating point operations, which, if I understand correctly, is basically how much math it could do, how much computing it could do, that giant computer that took up a whole room and needed all that electricity, that giant computer is about 1,000,000 times slower than a new iPhone. That little bitty phone in your pocket that costs about $1 a year to run in electricity is 1,000,000 times, quote unquote, more powerful than a basically science fiction computer from 40 years ago. 1,000,000 times. Now, how many smartphones are there in the world? Granted, they're all not as powerful as a brand new iPhone, but you know, 5 billion smartphones times, let's just say 100,000, just to be conservative. Well, I can't really do that math in my head because I get lost after quadrillions, but just the phones in your pocket alone could theoretically, if you had the right kind of RAM and all kinds of architecture issues, which again I don't really fully understand, 1,000,000 times more power. One phone. Tell me something. Where are the gains? Where are the technological gains? I don't know. Why haven't we cured cancer yet? Why are we just now trying to build airplanes with a geometry that allows for quiet supersonic travel? Couldn't we have modeled these things already? I mean, these are the things we were using CRAY supercomputers for in the 80s, trying to solve these problems. Were these problems really that difficult? Maybe they were. But you know, 1,000,000, billion, trillion times more difficult than we thought they were? I don't know, that just seems a little hard for me to believe. That just seems a little hard for me to believe. How have we gotten such few returns on investment when we were using these computers to do so much back then? Here's another question for you. My cell phone is so much more powerful than a laptop from 20, 30 years ago. I mean, or a desktop. I mean, it's just incredible. My 5-year-old M1 MacBook is so much more powerful than a laptop from 20 years ago. I mean, infinitely more powerful. But why do I run out of RAM browsing the web? Why, when I used to have 128 megabytes of RAM, was I able to browse the web, but now when I have 4,000 times more RAM, or more than that, what is it, 120? That's 10 would be a gigabyte, and I got 8 gigabytes, so that would be 80, but the power of the RAM is so much more powerful than it used to be. It's not comparable to say a gig of RAM now. You know, a gig of RAM 20 or 30 years ago is and a gig of RAM, DDR5 RAM, is completely different. Look at these old TVs. There's a metaphor there for something. Anyways, the computers now are so much more powerful, but we're still basically doing the exact same things with them. Okay, video editing is better, and of course games are better, but I mean, come on. Is that really all we're going to do with these computers? Oh no, they mine bitcoins and run large language models, but that all takes GPUs. Let's see if we can switch out this bag and get another bag. Somebody dumped a whole bag of trash out there. I do not think it was a litter cleanup bag. And if it was, that's a messed up way to do litter cleanup, to just leave a bag full of it there. I like this device, but sometimes getting it unstuck is a pain in the booty. There it goes. Just had to grab it right, I guess. Now we can get political on this channel if the viewers like that. I just want to say thanks to y'all for, I think there was over almost 15 hours of people watching me pick up trash from the previous 2 videos. And that is awesome. Of course, it'd be very awesome if it inspires people to go do this. That's the main hope of the channel. But the other hope of the channel is to talk with people that need somebody to have to talk to. There's a lot of lonely people out there. I was one of them. Truck drivers and people that just need something to listen to get through the day. Injured people, people on disability. So I just, hope that y'all, beyond doing litter pickup, I mean, 1/3 of the title is walking, the 1/3 is talking, and the other 1/3 is trash. So let me know what you want to hear in the talking part in the comments, if you've gotten this far. We can talk about politics, we can talk about religion. I am a Christian, and I have very strong and provisional beliefs on that subject that I'm happy to share and I would love talking about. But if people just want me to shut up and pick up trash, I can do that too. It's all up to y'all. Whatever you want. The name of the channel is Red Letter Fan 3, I think, but I thought about making it Red Letter Servant because service is where it's at. I wonder if we can get back there and get that stuff without ripping this bag up. Man, we've made some good progress out here. This craft is almost picked up. Think we can get back there? So anyways, yeah, I mean, like, just where did it all go? Like, why does my computer, which is so much more powerful, now I know graphics are higher resolution, but come on, that can't explain what is essentially, you know, I mean, this would be the equivalent of going from a basic Ford Escort in the 80s, and I like motorsports, so I use cars a lot as an analogy. It'd be like doing a lap of a racetrack in a Ford Escort with a certain time, say 4 minutes, and then getting in a brand new Ferrari today and doing the same lap in about 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Like, what happened? This Ferrari, this brand new Ferrari, is from 2025, is so much more powerful and capable than a little 65 horsepower Ford Escort from the 80s. It's incomprehensibly more powerful, yet somehow we're doing basically the same track time. What the heck? What the heck is going on? Now, yes, in that analogy, the Ferrari would cost less than the Ford Escort. I can give you that. So it's not a perfect analogy, but no analogy is perfect. Analogies are meant to be reasoned from one direction, to make one point. Because analogies are not, you know, if an analogy was a perfect representation of the thing you're trying to illustrate, then it would be the thing you're trying to illustrate, and it wouldn't have any illuminating purpose. But I feel like that's basically what we're dealing with when it comes to computers. You know, and then you look at video games, and okay, they're a little prettier now than they were 10 years ago. They're a little prettier now than they were 20 years ago. But it's not that much better. And the gameplay certainly hasn't really developed. The gameplay is essentially the same. So where is all this extra power going? Why do we get diminishing returns so often? Now, I'm not saying that it's all some kind of conspiracy. I know there are real issues. For instance, when you start making character models in a video game, say one character model has 100,000 polygons and another character model has 500,000 and another one has 2 million. Well, that one with 500,000 polygons is not going to look that much better than the 100,000, and the 2 million is not going to look that much better than the 500,000. Even though you've, you know, gone up 20 times, the quality is not So there's diminishing returns just by nature because of just how things work. Victoria, you know, there is that concept of low-hanging fruit. So even as something as basic and as old as civilization, agriculture, you get diminishing returns. You pick that low-hanging fruit and you get so many fruits, but then you put in so much more work to get just a few more fruits up there at the top. And that applies to so many things in life. But come on, a CRAY computer supercomputer was 1/1,000,000th the power of a smartphone, and we are struggling to do things? What is that? It's not all just natural, immutable processes, you know? There is some kind of, there's something going on there. Something intentional, something man-made. See if we can get that right there. Can you see it? Some stuff back there obviously, but I don't know about going back there today. We might be able to forge a path back there. I need to put chapter numbers on this thing so people can just skip to the parts of the conversation they like to hear. I really would like for this channel to blow up because I want to talk to people. I want to have a community with people. I just think there's a lot going on in the world right now, and we need people to talk. That's one thing we had back in the day in the 90s and 80s is you talk to people. The social aspect was so much greater back then. Think about it. Think about how we navigated back then. It's hard for me to even remember it, but I was driving. I got my license in 97. I was driving all over the place as soon as I got my license. And how'd you do it? How'd you do it without Google Maps? How'd you do it without GPS? Well, you had paper maps. But more importantly than the paper map, excuse me, you had gas stations and fast food restaurants. And they actually had people working there instead of computers working there. And you did something crazy. You talked to the people. Isn't that weird? You actually talked to the people. You asked them, hey, I'm trying to find Highway 78. Can you help me get there? Oh yeah, you go down there, take a left, stop at the, and you actually had to use your brain and follow what they were saying. And you had to, when you were driving, you had to recall what they were saying. You know, you had to use your memory. Remember memories? I remember memories. And you had to look for road signs, and you had to look for landmarks. And eventually you got where you were going. Did you take the most efficient route? No, not really. but you got where you were going. And remember, headlights that didn't blind everybody around you. Don't get me started on that. That's another conversation. Somehow we were able to drive at night. Even though we didn't have the power of the sun on our front bumpers. So yeah, I do like Google, and I do like the ability to use a phone to call people in case you're in trouble. That is very nice. Maybe if I could turn back the clock, I would turn back the clock to 2006. Right before the first smartphone. Maybe 2002. Well, actually, of course, I would turn it back to September 10th, 2001. Because that was the beginning of the end. The next day was the beginning of the end. That was the height of humanity. That was the best it's ever been and maybe ever will be. September 10th, 2001. We had a Sega Dreamcast. What more did you need? Because in September 10th, 2001, you had the Nokia candy bar phones. You had good cell coverage everywhere. You had the internet, the real internet, the actual internet. But it was accessible from a desktop or maybe a laptop. I mean, definitely from a laptop, but laptops were kind of expensive back then. But time for some water. Excuse me. Yeah, September 10th, 2001. Back when chicken tasted like chicken and we hadn't signed away all of our civil rights to some horrible, evil man. And we hadn't lied our way into a terrible war that murdered millions of, probably about 1 million Iraqis, and destabilized the entire world. And air travel was still dignified and relatively enjoyable. You know, first world things, but what we got here? Michelob Ultra. For a second I thought it was an RC Cola. Y'all, we have put We have put a hurting on this thing. That is wonderful. It's looking so much better. We got 2 full bags. And this side of the road that used to look like a dumpster, right in front of this elementary school, setting an example for all these kids that this is the way life is. You just throw your crap on the side of the road, and that's just how we live. I mean, right in front of an elementary school. This is the example we set for children. Well, at least now maybe, but then they might just think that things naturally just clean themselves up. I should put a sign. Put a sign up advertising the YouTube channel. This clean roadside brought to you by Walkin'Talkin'Trash. Let's see if we can get a few little things out of here. Well, haven't got arrested yet. Isn't that funny? Am I just paranoid for worrying about getting arrested for picking up trash? Do I just have some kind of messed up idea of what life is like in America now? From watching too many videos of the civil rights lawyer illustrating people getting arrested for paraplegics getting arrested for kicking in a door. You know, it's hard not to but those are the exceptions. Most police are good, hard-working people with a very hard job. It's our government that's made it so bad. It's not the police. They're generally good people. The best people. Folks, I'm going to get a little political now. Our government is run by people who probably shouldn't be running government. Newsflash, I know. What a crazy statement. Nobody's ever thought that before. So the battery on my GoPro went dead. I don't know when it went dead. I haven't looked at the footage yet, but I must have been talking to myself for a couple hours. But we got 2 big full bags of trash, and we picked up that one bag that somebody just thrown out there, and it's disgusting, so my car's gonna stink. I just wanted to show y'all what we did, and let's go grab a quick video of the roadside, since I don't know what y'all saw, but it looks so much better now. I had a good conversation with myself for who knows how long without y'all there to enjoy it, because those GoPro batteries, boy, they go dead fast. I mean, it went from 100% to nothing in I don't know how long. We'll find out once I get the footage back. But that's what it looks like now. And it was funny too, it looked like somebody stopped maybe they were going to pick up the bags. By the time I had I had the full bags on the side of the road. I went to get my car and turn around, and in that short, brief moment of time, somebody looked like somebody was going to stop and pick up all the bags. But look at that. And our drainage grate is still empty. And pick up this sign right here. September through May. And that's it. Now we got this roadside in front of this elementary school clean. So these kids don't think that's just the way life is. That you're just supposed to have a bunch of dirt everywhere. Man, this trunk locks every time I get in the car. Just got stabbed by a piece of signboard. It's starting to bleed. Can you see? I'm on phone. See a little bit of blood. All right, that's it. Thank y'all for joining me. Sorry about the battery issue. We'll get more footage next time. Bye.